Great, thanks. And our executive producer, Joy Thompson. And then two other people quickly. The film was shot, as you saw, by activists themselves, mostly people just understanding how necessary it was to capture this footage for history. And one of those people is here, Tim McCarthy, who's right here shooting this panel, as he has been shooting all week. And then our intern who's traveling with us, Miranda, come on up, is the last of our crew here today. And, are they here?
They are.
Oh. There they are. Our two editors, Woody Richmond and Tyler Walk. So let's talk.
So actually I'll start with a couple questions and we'll turn it over to the audience. So David, let's start with you and just to give the background on how this is the first film for you. So how did you come to the story and why film as the medium to tell it?
I'm a journalist and author, and I started my journalism as my response to the AIDS crisis. Everybody at that time had to do something, and we had to find our own way to contribute. And so I was an AIDS journalist from the days before AIDS had a name, even. And so I knew this story, or parts of it, all along. And a couple of years ago, I started thinking about how to tell it, because no one had yet. And I remembered all the cameras. I remembered that there were these people shooting just about everything. HIV arrived in 1981, and the camcorder arrived in 1982, so they were really kind of tied together, bound together. And so I went first to Peter to see what he had saved from that period. And then I went to a collection at the New York Public Library of AIDS activism video and film that was really phenomenal, and used that as my starting point to see if it was going to be possible to tell a narrative story. And ultimately, it was.
And one of the most amazing things, obviously, about the film is that it reminds us of the role of activism and collective action to make a difference. AIDS, unfortunately, is not talked about in the same way as urgently anymore. So maybe Peter can talk a little bit about sort of what our hopes might be with this film to re-energize and re-engage, especially a younger generation that maybe doesn't think about AIDS as a problem anymore.
Yeah. Hi, nice to be here, and I want to thank David for this important The audience response this week has just been extraordinary, and I really appreciate you all showing up, and I hope you tell your friends. But that slide near the end with the 2 million dying every year, that's more than was dying at the end of the story arc of this movie. So this crisis is far from over. And it's all just a problem of money and political will. We actually have the tools now to save all 2 million of those every year. And we have the tools to now dramatically lower infection. There are studies that have come out in the last 5 years that show that things like male circumcision, if used widely in Africa, can dramatically reduce transmission. A thing called test and treat, where you find at-risk communities and you aggressively test for the HIV virus, find out who's positive, put them on treatment early, regardless of their CD4 count. Their viral load goes to undetectable. And at that point, they become uninfectious, and so communally, the virus stops spreading. And that's actually been tried successfully in Toronto. And so we have the tools. It would only cost around $5 or $6 billion a year internationally to begin to end this crisis. And in the US, it's a scandal too, because we have 60,000 infected every year. And because of the right wing in this country that blocks most prevention efforts and funding of prevention for targeting gay men, etc. We don't make a dent in that number, and it's a scandal. So I hope you'll join that effort.
And I'd love to turn it over to questions from the audience at this point. I'll repeat the question if so that everybody can hear it. We'll start right down here.
I'm with Watermark Media from Central Florida, and I just want to commend you guys on what you were able to do way before social media ever happened. And imagine what we could do today, but I want to thank you for what you've done for our community, what you've done for me.
So the comment, if people didn't hear that, is he commends them for what they did before social media, and says just what could possibly be done with social media now that we have that. So just congratulations to everybody. Over here, yeah.
I'm the vice president of a GSA at my high school, and I was wondering what you would suggest that a younger group would be able to do as far as helping with this.
Can everybody hear that? Because I won't repeat it if people can hear.
No.
Okay, I will repeat. She's with the GSA of her high school, and sort of what can the young people in her high school, et cetera, be able to do to sort of with this issue?
Well, you can see what issues are going on in your area locally with AIDS or prevention, and what your state government is doing in that regard with its AIDS drug assistance program. There are waiting lists in various states in the country. And on prevention efforts in the local school systems, what the school system policies are on sex education, safe sex education. But also, I hope we might use this movie for when it finally gets a distribution. When it gets distributed in theaters, we might try to couple it with tackling some even larger healthcare issues. Personally, I feel that the number one piece of legislation that can help people with AIDS in America today is Obamacare. And Obamacare is under attack, and it might never get fully implemented. And if you know, like I do, a lot of people with AIDS, they are counting the days until 2014 when this thing is fully implemented, because what it does for people with AIDS is extraordinary. And anybody who has a lifelong, life-threatening illness, it is just a crime how our country handles healthcare, and we need to start reforming it. And if we backslide on Obamacare, we're just screwed. So hopefully we'll use the movie for something like that as well.
Sorry, I hate to plug here, but there is going to be an outreach component to the release of the film. And we do have a website, www.howtosurviveaplague.com. You can sign up. And I think we're going to be putting out a lot of information via the website and via Facebook and Twitter and all the usual social media. But do come talk to me after the Q&A, because we do want to figure out how to do outreach with educational institutions.
Activist plug, which is social media is great, Twitter, all that stuff, it's fabulous. You can get people into you can get people to a demonstration, but the trick is really getting people into a room face to face and talking with them. Find people, if you have a GSA, it's great. If there's an issue that that one of the things Peter said or something in your community, figure it out. We were improvising. Yes, we had a background. We had people in the organization who had experience in women's health care and with the civil rights movement and the gay rights movement, but we were making it up. Don't wait for the perfect whatever. Get in a room, talk to one another, figure something out, and just do it. And you'd be surprised. But the story of this movie is that individuals together can make a difference. And they really can. The government doesn't want you to know that, but you can. And that's the really important thing. So wherever you are, if there are like-minded people who have an issue in mind, just figure it out and do something. And one step just leads to the next. So.
Thank you for that, yes. Definitely. Next question? The very, very top.